clarity, peace, and joy to all of you. We are the spirits of the cards. We influence the shuffling of the cards by blending our energy and choosing the right ones for you at this moment. It is our best intention to give you guidance, not prediction. However, you are all your own best guides and navigators for making important life decisions. Never underestimate your own ability to make the right decision in any given situation. Let your emotions be your guide. If it feels good, you are on the right path. If it feels off, better pause and contemplate, then listen to your inner self. You are the creator of your own reality. Always remember who you really are. You came forth to this time-space reality from one source, from pure positive energy, which we all call love. A reminder to everyone that has long forgotten. The shadow side, the pain and the light of giving in to temptation. If it refers to another person, it is somebody behaving in devilish way, wild and tempting. It is the kind of person you know you do best to stay far away from, but that is not easy. If it is an event, it is an opportunity to let go of your shyness and satisfy your lusts. Explore what you have not dared to before. Of course, as always with the devil, there is a price. Be prepared to pay it once you have followed your impulse. The devil card asks the question, do you dare to fall for temptation? And if not, do you have the strength to resist it? If it refers to you, it is because you have done away with many of your inhibitions and act upon your lusts and longings, even when others might be upset or even condemn it. You are sort of devilish, be it for long or just for the moment. Well, have fun while it lasts. It should be full of energy. The sun, great resources at your disposal, but force yourself since it is possible to have too much. If it refers to another person, it is someone extremely resourceful and willing to help. But don't accept more than you need and can handle, or there may be terrible consequences. That person has no obligation at all to serve you, so don't force his or her patience. If it is an event, it is a golden opportunity. Things happen from which you can prosper tremendously, but still limit your greed. Consider what you really need and what would be gluttony. A good fortune can be just as difficult to handle as a bad one. If it refers to you, it means you are in a position where you can accomplish great things without even trying that hard. You might hurry forward beyond what is wise just because you can. Take care. Just because you can do what you want doesn't guarantee you what is good for you. The High Priest, the dependency on approval from an elevated dignity. If it refers to another person, which is most often the case, it is someone very self-important indeed, whom it is of vital importance to treat with respect, whatever you might feel about it. You need that person's approval. At least, you can't afford offending him or her. Watch out, because the High Priest is a person that is much more important to the final outcome than you might expect. definitely more than what seems reasonable. If it is an event, it is a moment of great symbolic significance which can lead to triumph or to defeat. The importance of it must be respected, or things are unlikely to go your way. Still, your own influence is minimal. Things beyond your reach and ability are involved. There is not much more to do than hope for the best and make sure not to offend anyone. If it refers to you, then you are in a position that others can't ignore. It is not exactly one of power to decide or spring into action. It is just that you can't be opposed and your preferences can't be ignored. You don't have to be modest about this strong influence, but you should. Tomorrow, in another situation, things may be very different, and people remember. To be respected is far from the same as being liked or even admired. The Tower, a spectacular ambition that ends with disaster. If it refers to another person, which is unlikely, it is someone capable of destroying things that seem as solid as mountains and hurrying to do so. It is a person who is victim of the destructive instinct. Although costly, it is necessary in the magnificent plan of things. What goes up must come down, and someone has to make sure of it. But of course, that person is a dangerous ally. If it is an event, and that is usually the case, it is the unfortunate end to an ambitious project. Failure. Probably, you aimed too high or lifted a weight that was far too heavy. It couldn't last. Should you insist on your ambitious goal, you must be prepared to do it all over from the start, and there will be additional obstacles to overcome. If it refers to you, it means you have a mentality that is bound for disappointment and complete failure. You need to change. You want to be serious about things that demand patience and care. Most things do, at least the important ones. You might have reached the end of your patience after a long time of setbacks, but still, your urge for decisive and forceful action is a mistake. Even if it is difficult, you need to calm down before you do something without careful consideration. Page of Wands. Plenty of possibilities. So many that it is difficult to choose. Do something and you will prosper, but wait no longer. When we see the Page of Wands, we see a youth with enormous excitement and curiosity for the world. He knows what to do. He has the passion to succeed, but due to his inexperience and maybe a little fear of the unknown, his ideas remain non-realistic. He identifies new worlds to explore, new opportunities he could take advantage of quite easily, and he is even gifted with a big picture vision needed to succeed. Even with all of this, he still has a tendency to either remain in a deep sleep or get easily distracted with one idea after the other. If he doesn't learn to control this, it might be that he wastes the opportunities to advance himself. When you get the Page of Wands, it simply means something is within you, something that triggers you to make discoveries. Allow yourself to enjoy in investments or take the next advancement in life. You could be just about to take a move on a certain idea, but some conflicting messages keep coming to your mind and you get discouraged. This card matches your inner battles, which are preventing you from expressing your heroism to the world, to let the world know that you exist for a reason. If you are wise enough, this card is normally a trigger of courage. It should make you overcome the personal discouragements and move forward boldly to launch your ideas in the real world. Remove the fear, gather your resources and do something. Let the world know that you are there, and you have no jokes about moving forward in the path that you choose. Conquer every obstacle. Let your ideas shine and be known to the world, because this card indicates a level of success that can only be achieved when courage is used. Queen of Cups. Stuck in obsession, what the feelings use to trap the mind and vice versa. It is not worth it. We can understand the meaning of the Queen of Cups from taking a closer look at the woman in image. She is seen as compassionate, caring, sensitive, and nurturing. She connects with people on the emotional level, so people enjoy her honesty and fairness. The appearance of the Queen of Cups in a reading can be guiding you to find help from others. Most times, like the other queens, this is a female figure that will come into your life. The Queen of Cups has an intuition which is very powerful and is only matched by the one of the High Priestess. The Queen of Cups acts as a mirror and reflects the depths present in others, so they see themselves in a new light. Most times, the Queen of Cups can also represent the trusted inner voice you have within you. She seems to say that you should take the time to focus on your emotional health before trying to help others. Self-love creates compassion. The Queen of Cups can also reflect your relationships with other people. You may be the emotionally strong rock that serves as an anchor for someone else. You may be here to help teach and support others using your intuition instead of logic. The Queen of Cups normally thinks with her heart instead of her mind. She can lack rationality and common sense, but she can also be intuitive, dreamy, and almost psychic at times. The Queen of Cups could be the answer to your problems when a logical approach is not working. Four of Pentacles. A self-obsessed mind caught by the brilliance of his own thinking. But thoughts can be shared without wasting them. The Four of Pentacles card is capable of generating both negative and positive perceptions. On one hand, the card signifies that you have successfully managed to accomplish much of your goals and you have managed to attain a significant material wealth in the process. However, on the other hand, there is a significant chance that you will start valuing things only for their material worth. You have worked hard to get to the point where you are now, and it is absolutely natural for you to desire to make sure that you remain stable. But this also has a chance to turn you into an overly possessive or greedy person who wants to ensure that no one is capable of taking away your own wealth. The Four of Pentacles is also a card which shows that you are currently in a position in which you have solid investments and that you are financially stable. Because of your newfound wealth, you are being particularly conservative about money, and you are most definitely not inclined to gamble when it comes to any kind of financial matters. You are protective of what you have managed to accumulate throughout time, and you desire to steadily increase your overall net worth. Be aware that without risk, there is no reward. If you spend too much of your time attempting to conserve, you may become a prisoner to your own material possessions. Wealth is a kind of energy as well, and we create what we express. The Magician. A sudden solution as if by magic, but it may be just an illusion. If it refers to another person, and that is usually the case, then that person is one who trusts that, so to speak, magical solutions. It is not the realistic approach, but the daring and the imagination of it may still actually work, at least for a while. This person may be impressive and seems to accomplish the impossible, but you probably have your doubts. You should. If it is an event, which is not that likely, It suggests a situation where the solution comes as if by magic, inexplicably. No logical approach would solve matters, but the absurd just might. Something totally irrelevant may prove to be the only relevant course of action. It is not altogether trustworthy, even if it seems to do the trick, but it may be the only remaining option. If it refers to you, then you are the one attracted to actions that may seem both irrelevant and a bit absurd. Your approach is unconventional, to say the least, but that is exactly why it might work, to everyone's surprise. But you should avoid applying that approach to things as a matter of routine. That just won't work. Know the time and the place for it, and stay cautious of what it might lead to at length. The world of magic is not predictable. The Chariot. Triumph, but beware of its consequences at length. If it refers to another person, which is not that often, it is someone who grants success with whatever is at hand, also yours, even if your accomplishment might not have been decisive. If it is an event, which is what it usually does, it indicates a most fortunate outcome. But you have to consider what the long-term consequences might be. Envy from others is definitely one of them. If it refers to you, it shows you being impressive and successful. You have the ability to get where you want to go. Remember that the trick to accomplish lasting success is to be modest about it, and that is not always easy. Six of Swords, a most expensive outcome of a great journey. Either bitter defeat or a victory won at too great a cost. Still, you will persevere. The meaning of the Six of Swords is that you are experiencing a transition of some kind, but one that is not happy and filled with regret. This transition will most likely be the result of decisions you made in the past, and now they are forcing you to leave something behind in order to move forward. Despite your sadness, you need to remember that moving on is the ideal option for your future. Life is filled with moments when you are going to be forced into letting go of things that you have become attached to. This will be challenging. The Six of Swords shows the sadness that you may be feeling, but you have to remember that the pain will not last. So you should look instead to the future for strength. In life, there will be times that the only way to fix a problem is to leave it and move to start again. You may feel like this is the coward's way out, but escape is the only approach that is left when you have tried all other methods. The important part is to secretly plan your new direction that will lead you to happiness. The Six of Swords in this case is to plan using your logic, clarity, and objectivity about where you are now, where you have been, and where you want to go. Intuition can help, but you need to think logically to ensure your success. Seven of Swords. Betrayal right before the final battle. It may not lead to defeat, but victory is suddenly more distant. The Seven of Swords in general is said to be about betrayal and deception. When you get this card, it may suggest that you or someone else in your life is having difficulty getting away with something. There are instances when we are forced to be deceitful, hoping that we will not be discovered. When we are found out, we have to face the consequences, whether it is embarrassment, punishment, or worse. Sometimes this happens when there are instances when you had to make a quick decision and did something that was somewhat rude or out of character. Now there is a danger of the secret coming out. You may be tempted to disappear from somewhere, indicating a situation that is no longer working as expected. Instead of dealing with it, you choose to leave and hope that you will go unnoticed. Perhaps you were hoping that this issue would just resolve itself over time and you've neglected it, leaving it to only grow and get worse. The big question when looking at the Seven of Swords is whether escaping will solve this problem that you are facing. While you might be thinking that you have gotten away, you discover that the situation has cornered you and you are found out as you are trying to escape. There are instances when the Seven of Swords may indicate the willingness to go solo. You may have the urge to explore and discover some things on your own. This can be an effective approach if you want to declare your independence and bypass group agreement. The Seven of Swords symbolism may be encouraging you to go on this path. Sometimes innovation comes from a dishonest genius. The Hermit, the lesson and reward, but also misfortune of being alone. If it refers to another person, which is often but far from always, it is someone refusing to get involved. He or she tends to go away in solitude whenever having the chance, and is most hesitant when approached by others. A difficult one to charm indeed. You and others wonder if that person is at all aware of your existence or cares about it. So, it is not one easily made to commit to any kind of companionship. If it is an event, it means that now is the time to retreat and contemplate the situation carefully. No action is appropriate for the moment. Give it time. Consider all the options. By time, a solution might appear. You should wait for it. If no solution appears, no matter how long you wait, you might do well to consider to leave the whole situation be. Do nothing about it and move on elsewhere. If it refers to you, it means you tend to isolate yourself from others, either just in the present situation or as a constant personality trait. You should know which one it is. You avoid company and involvement in the lives of others. You don't want to pick sides and make choices, at least not before you have had time to contemplate matters deeply. Others may react with outspoken impatience, but that will not change your mind. Actually, it only makes you more committed to listening to your own mind instead of their words. Page of Pentacles. Time to dream and let the fantasy go. That gives strength and opens for new possibilities. Be optimistic. When we meet the Page of Pentacles, we see immediately that she is one that is ambitious and focused. She is protected, nourished, and provided for. She is deeply tied to the earth, nature, and all of its gifts. She cherishes the body, for it too is something which is a manifestation of her element. Her diligence, ambition, and loyalty drive her to quickly make plans for the future, for it is there where her focus lies. When you meet her, she may be the bearer of news connected to all earthly and material matters. When you hear her message, be inspired as she is. Lay down the foundations to follow your ambitions. Generally, the Page of Pentacles refers to the kind of energy that you need to complete all that is needed for your work. It may point to the determination, focus, and the ability to stick with a particular task no matter how boring it may seem. In terms of work, the Page of Pentacles may signify that there are a lot of tasks you are responsible for, but your time to complete them is much too limited. This is not the time to feel stressed and overwhelmed. Assistance will be there for you. You just have to ask for it. In relation to finances, the Page of Pentacles can refer to the reward for your hard work. For those who are investing their hard-earned money, this is not the perfect time for you to take the risk. Invest your money in a safe and traditional way. The careful and constant effort will pay you back. If you are currently experiencing a health issue, this problem may be the result of the continuous neglect. Let a professional make sure that this is not the case. The Hanged Man, great personal sacrifice that still doesn't hurt much. If it refers to another person, which it often is, it is someone who is willing to make the sacrifice needed for things to find their solution, even if that sacrifice is completely unrewarded. It is an attitude worth admiring, but people tend to do so only secretly, keeping it to themselves. That may be out of guilt, knowing they should have volunteered to make that sacrifice. If it is an event which is not that common, then it is one where a personal sacrifice is needed. It may be yours or someone else's. The question is, who is prepared to accept making it? If no one does, there will be no solution. If one does, whoever it is, things will be fine for everyone but the person making the sacrifice. Life is not always fair. The consolation for the one making the sacrifice, if anyone does, is personal satisfaction. That's quite something. If it refers to you, it means you are the one readily making any sacrifice needed, either in the present situation or as a constant personality trait. You have no fear of becoming the martyr, so to speak. Others will admire you for it without telling either you or anyone else, but they will also urge you on to make your sacrifice whenever the situation is such that there is something to gain from it. For all or just for them. Don't make your sacrifice for any little thing. Ace of Cups. The ace is an exclamation mark. Now, it is all about feeling comfort in a time of sadness. Bliss is around the corner. Getting the Ace of Cups shows that it is time to let loose of whatever emotional baggage you have and start living your life to the fullest. Like with all the other aces, there is a new beginning that is indicated here, a chance to start fresh. It might come in the form of opening yourself up to the possibilities of new relationships, romantic or otherwise, that have the ability to make you emotionally fulfilled. The release indicated by this card may either be spiritual or emotional, depending on what you are going through. The Ace of Cups may come to a reading after a long period of being lonely or enduring something that deeply hurt you emotionally, and its appearance may be there to announce the turning over a new leaf. It is important for one to open themselves to more opportunities for friendships, love, and spiritual learnings. There is a chance now to put your past behind you, for you are being offered the gifts of the cups. It is up to you whether you take the cup and drink to the fullest. Two of Swords. Where to go when both directions are risky and still speed is called for. You must decide although you can't be sure. When we see the Two of Swords in a reading, we are encountering a stalemate. Two equal and opposing forces are joined in battle, and there seems to be no end in sight. This wasn't what you had in mind when you chanced to walk down this path, and you find yourself caught in the middle. Without something or someone to take part to prevent or change a result, this may continue indefinitely. We find ourselves in a situation where we must make a choice. We can side with one part of the situation or we can side with the other. Neither seems particularly appealing, which makes the decision even more difficult. But unless we move past this stalemate, there can be no more progress. The Two of Swords is often related with balance and partnership. It signifies the need to keep your relationships balanced. Regardless if it is in business, friendship, or romantic relationship, you may find yourself struggling to maintain the current state of affairs and may find yourself caught in the middle. In regards to your work, you may be currently stuck and perhaps waiting on another party's decision. Remain patient and avoid pressuring people in making their decision abruptly. The Two of Swords meaning may represent a warning to have caution. Like the woman in the card, you may be choosing to keep the blindfold on, hoping the problem will just go away. You should avoid evading any issues that you are facing since it will not solve your problems. The Wheel of the Year, an uncertain outcome with an aftermath to be carefully considered. If it refers to another person, which happens rarely, it is someone willing to risk it all on the hope to be lucky. You can't say what it will lead to, so be careful about how much you commit to that person. Are you also willing to take a chance? If you really are, then this person is your ticket. If it is an event, and that is most often the case, it means that the future is hidden regarding the issue at hand. Anything can happen. It is hard to prepare for anything, but you can at least be prepared for a surprise. What is most likely to happen is what you considered very unlikely. If it refers to you, it suggests that you have a tendency to risk too much with too little preparation. You want to improvise it, whatever problem it is you are facing. That kind of improvisation can sometimes lead to really good solutions, but the opposite is just as possible. You should choose carefully when you want to leave things to chance. Seven of Cups. How to resist temptation. How to quiet the burning desire for everything in the world. That which you want is an optical illusion. To draw the Seven of Cups in a reading shows that you need to clearly see the shadows and visions in your imagination, not only in your dreams but also in the real world. You should be careful of wishful thinking and be alert of the choices that you make. In one sense, the Seven of Cups indicates that you are a dreamer who is both excited and afraid of the things that you see in your unconscious. In another, the Seven of Cups is a reminder that although it is good to have dreams and wishes, it is even better to take action attaining those dreams. At one point in life, you will need to stop fantasizing and face the reality of life. If you are unable to make a decision due to the many options that are available, you should evaluate the advantages and disadvantages of each option so as to make the best choice. It is important to exercise caution when you are making your decision, as the card itself seems to show there is not only wonders and treasures that are available to you, but also monsters and shadows. There are some cases when the Seven of Cups may show that you are living in ways that are not necessarily grounded in real life, that your actions are guided by illusions that you feed yourself. Your ideas may be so up in the clouds, developed only on your imagination. As such, you will need to separate what is real and what is not so that you can make better choices. The Seven of Cups is also linked with temptation. The world. Success in anything worldly, but not for free. If it refers to another person, which is not that often, it is someone who can offer success on a silver platter, but watch out for the price tag. There is one, although it might not be evident at first. If the deal is too good to be true, it is probably not. There is no such thing as a free lunch. Be moderate. You can get a lot from such a person, but settle for less than what is offered. If it is an event, and that is almost always the case, It opens up plenty of possibilities beyond your initial expectation. But be careful with your choices. There is a bill to be paid always. What you can get from this opportunity may exceed the bill significantly, or it may not. So before you jump into things, consider what may be the consequences at length. If it refers to you, it means you are willing to risk it all for an opportunity coming along. You want to go for it without hesitation. That is fun and can be rewarding, but it can also lead to unexpected disadvantages, though it may take quite long before they are revealed. You should really be cautious of your own eagerness. Don't bite off more than you can chew, but sure dare to take a bite. 7 of Wands. Struggle to hold on to what you have. Others try to take it from you. The 7 of Wands has a similar in meaning to the 5 of Wands. Both cards indicate struggles after the initial fulfillment and satisfaction of an event. The 7 of Wands, however, is different as it is about the struggle that you need to go through to maintain your position rather than to attain it. This is about the difficulties we face to continue to have success. You should be ready for the competition to defend your title and to prove yourself. Others are going to desire the same results that you do, so you need to stay ahead of them. There will be challenges to the success of your project or venture from an outside source. You must remain dedicated to your desires, and with a clear purpose and effort, you will overcome them. The overall meaning of the 7 of Wands is to hold your ground no matter what is challenging your position. You will need to defend this position and take a stand against those who are aiming to take your spot. There are difficulties during this time, but you need to keep fighting for your beliefs and confront those that may threaten or oppose you and your beliefs. King of Wands. Wealth that is hard to keep. What is the point of prosperity if you don't trust that you can hold on to it? Envy is a poison also to the object of it. The meaning of the King of Wands represents pure energy. Unlike the other Wands cards in the deck, this particular one is not focused on pure creativity. Instead, this king is actually way more likely to take an idea and to decisively implement it himself. The King of Wands is a natural-born leader of people, and he is also extremely capable. Once the king sets for himself a certain aim or a goal, he is going to conveniently stick to it in order to ensure that it becomes a reality. The King of Wands looks forward to all sorts of different challenges, whether great or small, for he gets a natural adrenaline rush associated with the solving of problems. The Moon, longing for the sake of longing and the hope of fulfillment. If it refers to another person, it is somebody who awakens your longing by seeming able to fulfill it. But that is not the likely outcome. Instead, your longing will probably be increased, which is not at all a bad thing, although frustrating at times. If it is an event, it is a moment when your longing is obvious to you and things happen that increase it. It can create a confusion of emotions in you, but you welcome it, though with some anxiety. At the very least, you are reminded of your emotional needs and the importance of trying to satisfy them. If it refers to you, it means that you are kind of a victim of longing. That can be temporary or something constant in you. You should be able to decide which one it is. There is little you can do about it. If you follow them, they grow. And if you refuse them, they still grow. It can be frustrating, but it does indeed make you feel alive. Others, though, may find you overly sentimental or obsessed. 9 of Pentacles. Prosperity in so many ways. Time to lean back and enjoy the wealth, primarily the pride of having reached it. This Nine of Pentacles card indicates that the seeker has reached a stage in their lives where they are confident, independent, and self-sufficient. Through hard work, this person is now ready to enjoy money, leisure, and material comfort. The difficulties that were faced in the earlier journey appear to be over. The Nine of Pentacles brings not only joy, but also the feeling of security and freedom that material wealth can bring. Looking back, the seeker can now celebrate the difficulties, the struggles, and the hard work that lined her path. Her previous challenges gave her the wider perspective she needs to understand the spiritual value of her success. Knowing how difficult it was to get here, she intends to enjoy every single day that is given to her. Sometimes this card indicates that the seeker has not yet reached completion in their journey. There is something that is missing here, the element of her community and relationships. The gifts are meant to be shared, and yet this woman is so far from home. The Nine of Pentacles can also be about a specific time period of this person's life. This time is about self-discipline and grace. Diplomacy and grace will lead to the desired outcome. Karma, ultimate judgment whether we welcome it or not. If it refers to another person, which is not that often, it means that he or she is very judgmental and not inclined to change his or her mind about it. In the eyes of somebody with that characteristic, few people pass. You are not likely to be an exception, no matter how hard you try. But if you do, you are approved for good. If it is an event, as it most often does, it means that a final judgment will arrive and there is nothing anyone can do about it. The solution to whatever situation arrives, and it has almost nothing to do with the actions of those involved. It just happens, as if there was never any alternative. Opposing it is useless. If it refers to you, which is rare, you are indeed the one making the final decision on the matter at hand. Still, it is not that you have much of a choice. You may even decide against your own will. It is just that you must do what the situation calls for. There is no other way. So, although you have the final say, it is like you have no say at all. You just know what decision has to be made.